So you want to get into the Fates franchise. And hey, I don't blame you. There are so many good reasons for anyone to catch an interest in the Fates franchise. Maybe you were just blown away by its marvelous philosophies. Maybe you're just in it for the really good plot. Heck, you could even be only in it for the cute girls. I don't know. And honestly, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're willing to get on this ship we call the Fates franchise. So buckle up and get ready. You're probably gonna regret this, but hey, you've already made it here, so might as well. In this video, I'm gonna be pretty much talking about the Fates series timeline and where does each Fate anime fit in it. I will not include any novels or games in this list to avoid, making it way too complicated. So there is that. Also, if you happen to be new to this whole thing and you just really want to know how to start watching the Fate, then I would suggest you go ahead and watch Fate Zero, and then you follow it up with Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Work. These two should give you a good idea of what Fate is all about, and from there, hopefully this video will help you figure out what to watch next if you still want to watch more Fate. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and start by drawing the timeline. Now, the whole Fate series begins when 3 of the most powerful Magi families decide to join hands and create what is known as the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is known to be a very powerful artifact that can grant a wish no matter what it is. But only one wish is what it grants. So the 3 Magi families decided that the best way to decide who gets to make that wish is by hosting a battle royal. Hence, the Holy Grail Wars came to be. Now, the first Holy Grail War happened around the 1800s, back when the 3 Magi families managed to create the Grail. After that, the second Holy Grail War happened in the 1860s. And the reason it took so long for it to happen again is basically because the Grail needs around 60 years for it to charge up again and be able to create the conditions needed to hold a Holy Grail War. Anyways, another 70 years goes by and the third Holy Grail War happens. Then yet another 60 years passes by and we reach the fourth Holy Grail War, which is what we know as Fate Zero. Now, the Fate Zero anime adaptation consists of Fate Zero Season 1 and Fate Zero Season 2. Now, moving over to the fifth Holy Grail War, which happens after 10 years only, due to certain events that happens in the fourth Holy Grail War. I will not mention the events to avoid spoilers, obviously, so there's that. Now, the fifth Holy Grail War is adapted in the form of Fate Stay Night. Now, Fate Stay Night originally was a visual novel, so as you would guess, it had different routes depending on your decisions in the game as a player. Hence is why there are different anime adaptations for Fate Stay Night. Each one of them is basically a different route from the visual novel, but they are all Fate Stay Night, and they are all canon. It's just that they are not related to each other. They do all share the same background and history of the world, but have different endings. So with that explained, now off to naming them. First up, we have the first route, which is the anime adaptation of Fate Stay Night from 2006. The second route would be Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, which is an adaptation by Ufotable. The Unlimited Blade Works adaptation consists of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Work Episode 0, then Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Season 1, then Unlimited Blade Works Season 2, and there is an optional different ending to the second season under the name of Sunny Day. And then the third route, which is the last one, is the Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel, which consists of 3 movies, Heaven's Feel 1, 2, and 3. And that's pretty much all there is for Fate Stay Night. Now, there is a spin-off in the name of Lord Ilmeloy 2, and it happens around 2 months before the events of Fate Stay Night, but keep in mind that it is only a spin-off, so ultimately it does not add up to the main story with anything, and it only shows the character Waver Velvet from the Fate Zero anime, and how he developed over the past 10 years. Now, this is where it starts getting a little bit frisky. So we're gonna go ahead and start creating different timelines. Not even routes, just flat out completely new timelines where certain events just didn't even happen. So first up, we have what is known as Fate Khalid Ilya. Now, Fate Khalid Ilya happens after Fate Zero, but it happens in a completely different timeline from the one of Fate Stay Night. So pretty much everything that happened in Fate Stay Night never happened in Fate Khalid, since we are in a completely different timeline. Yes, they may both share the same history and even have some characters in common, but they are completely unconnected since each one of them is happening in a different timeline. Now, the Fate Khalid series consists of Fate Khalid Prisma Ilia, then Prisma Ilia 2-way, then Prisma Ilia 2-way hers, then Prisma Ilia 3-way. Then there is the movie Fate Khalid Prisma Ilia Oath of Snow. It is worth noting though that the movie happens before the events of the anime shows, but it's presented in a form of a flashback, so it is better if you just watch it after you see the anime adaptations. But aside from that, that's pretty much all there is for Fate Khalid, and there's not much more for it right now. Now, off we go to create yet another timeline. This time we're gonna go back to the Third Holy Grail War. After the end of the Third Holy Grail War, a magician from the family of Yugdumilenia steals the Holy Grail and takes it to Romania. And that is where the Fate Apocrypha anime takes place. It's very disconnected from the rest of the timelines. It happens even before Fate Zero, so it doesn't have that much in common with the other Fate shows, aside from a bunch of characters and, just some deep servant's lore. On side note though, it is worth noting that this one has his Astolfo, so... And off we go to create yet another timeline. This one also tracks back to the Third Holy Grail War, but it happens a little bit after it. So around the year 1970, a certain major incident happens, causing the world's mana to dry up. Humanity then flees to the moon within virtual reality, and that is where Fate Extra Last Encore is set. It happens way far in the future in a completely different timeline. So it also is pretty disconnected from the rest of the Fate shows. Now the thing about Fate Extra is that it only has one anime adaptation as of now. So if you want to know more about the Fate Extra world, you're gonna have to play the games so you can understand what's going on. And with that, we pretty much covered all the Fates with the exception of one. And that one is Fate Grand Order. Now Fate Grand Order is set in a different timeline as well, but this one tracks back all the way to the First Holy Grail War. You could say it's a completely different world at this point. So in the Fate Grand Order's world, only one Holy Grail War happened, and the person who won it is known as Marisbury Animosphere. After he won the war, he then proceeded to build an organization known as Chaldea. To put it in short, Chaldea's goal is to prevent what is known to be the certain extension of the human race. And the way they go about it is by sending masters and their servants into certain points in history via a technology known as race shifting, which is basically time travel. So they send these masters and their servants into those points in history to prevent certain events from leading into the human's race extension. Now, these certain points in history are referred to as singularities, and there is a total of 7 singularities in the Fate Grand Order that needs to be fixed. The first one is adapted in the form of Fate Grand Order First Order, and then we have to go all the way to the 6th one, which is the Camelot Singularity. It has been announced that it will get 2 anime movie adaptations, but they are not out by the time I am making this video. And then finally there is the last singularity, of whom which is the Fate Grand Order's Babylonia's anime that aired recently. And so far that's all the Fate Grand Order stuff that has been adapted into an anime, so that concludes everything about Fate Grand Order for now. And that pretty much sums it up. Hopefully this did clear out how the Fate world works, and where does each Fate anime takes place, and what is it connected to, and all of that stuff. I will leave a map for the Fate timelines in the description in case you're interested. Thank you for watching the video, and have a nice day.